following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young. I cannot believe this is the next to last January show. What a month of the new year of 2024 it's been for Topic Time. We're actually doing a show to Harlem, New York tonight. At a school, but there's more to the story than that. But before we get to my great guest, I'm going to read these incredible underwriters, and then we will commence per usual. So we have the VTC Games and more in Mansfield. We have Personal Best Karate right here in Southeastern, although this is Northeastern. We have Diesel Plus Unlimited in Whitman. We have Lynch's Towing Auto Cycle and Truck Center in Brockton. One number for towing, one number for projects. My pal Lynchy there is always looking for new scrap metal, wheels, anything to do with transportation. He does it all. He handles it all. We got one good credit in Brockton, as is Lynch's Towing. We got South Middleborough Pizza and Grill in Middleborough. They're a new one. We got Tom Auto in Middleborough. We got the Gunrunner LLC in Middleborough, your Second Amendment Freedom Store. We have Easton Fitness in the Village Shops in Northeastern. We have Doggy Boutique, all-breed professional grooming for dogs and cats, run by my great next-door neighbor, Debbie Siddell in Brockton. We have the Rug Resort in Northeastern, cleaning today for a healthier tomorrow. We have the Barber Shop in Whitman, go south on Route 27, and Debbie is on the left past the center. She does a great job. We have Grant's Rental in Bridgewater. We have RW Carpet and Flooring in Norton, covering floors for 50 years. We have the Hanover House of Pizza in Hanover, making delicious Sicilian pizza, Greek salads, and they deliver and have awesome people working there. And we have Joe's Diner in Taunton. I want to thank all you guys, and Joe's Diner in Taunton, and I want to thank you guys very much. And now I'm officially introduced Mr. Tom Paolino. He's a teacher. I just found out he's a teacher. He's an actor, too. And we're going to look at a little demo reel of his about halfway through the show. But before we do that, we're going to talk to him a little bit. So, Tom, thank you for being on my show tonight. I know you did a great post. I know you've wanted to be on for a while. So how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing really, really well. I'm glad to be here, Harrison. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Now, look, I got another question for you right off the bat. I noticed, remember a few weeks ago I interviewed Vinny Paolino, but you're not related to him. And Vinny Paolino, that was in Rochester, New York. You're from Rhode Island originally, right?
I'm proud to be from Providence, Rhode Island, my man.
Biggest little state in the Union, Rhode Island, Rhode Island. You know the song by Benny's, the department store. It's the biggest little state in the Union, Rhode Island, Rhode Island. You never heard that?
I'm getting chills just hearing that song again, Harrison.
I love that song. I mean, I drive people crazy running around town singing that song sometimes, but I just figured I'd hop on that. All right, well, tell me about, you're an actor, you're a teacher. What else do you do? What else do you do that's, part of your, your livelihood?
I'm doing a lot of yoga these days. I'm training to be a yoga teacher.
Okay.
This is a 7th and 8th grade math classroom here in Harlem.
Okay.
On 122nd Street.
Wow.
And so I'm here teaching math, and I just got a call from my agent from FBI, which is a great show on CBS. I've been on it twice, season 5 and season 2, and
wow.
And they were asking if I'm available to come back next month for a 3rd episode. So things are cooking, man. I'm very grateful today, buddy.
Okay, but now I got to ask. I mean, it sounds awesome and everything, but if you're teaching during the school year, how are you going to have time to go back to LA and do that? I assume that's where they shoot it, right?
No, FBI shot right here in New York City. So this class at PS 76 in Harlem had a math teacher who was unavailable unexpectedly in the middle of the year. So I work for a company called Ivy Tutoring Network.
Okay.
And they called me and said, we have a full-time position. And I said, look, I'm an actor. And they said, look, this is an emergency situation. When you book your next acting job, we'll get you a sub. I said, sign me up. I'm ready to go.
Well, but how do they know you were a teacher? I guess you have experience with that too, right?
I do. I'm happy to say that I took some time away from acting and got a master's degree in counseling and a credential to be a guidance counselor.
Wow.
And I took that letter of recommendation and submitted it to my application for Ivy Tutoring Network. And so that's I have for 3 years when I was living in LA, I was a guidance counselor at Westchester High School.
Uh-huh.
And
wow.
I took care of the academic, social, emotional, and career needs of 367 ninth through 12th graders. This is the middle school.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Okay.
this has been exciting for me because I've always been uncomfortable with middle school kids, but I said, let me step up to the challenge, and here I am.
Yeah, exactly. I know middle school kids can be, that's a tough time of life because we've all been there. We know what that's like. Well, all right.
Yes.
So, all right. So, where did you go to college? I assume you went to college to get these credentials, correct? And if so,
I did. I went to Brown University, and where I was a
great Ivy
recruit
League
hockey
school.
player.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm proud to have gone there, and it was a great experience. And my dad went there, my granddad went there. Dad graduated in 63, my granddad in 28, and I graduated in 92.
Wow.
So we've got a tradition there. My cousin Joe, who was the mayor of Providence, his son Joe Jr., Joe the third actually just graduated.
Okay.
So we have a connection to the school, and it was a great experience. That's where I started acting. Actually, I got hurt in a game against Northeastern and started acting, and haven't looked back since.
What, since your Brown days, you mean? Well, you started acting in college when you were in Brown.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, my father is a Harvard grad of class of, I believe, 1962 from Harvard Business School. So we sort of, he's an Ivy Leaguer too. And so he did a lot of stuff. And I don't know if he never played hockey. He played a little basketball, I guess. But so, yeah, I figured I'd mention that. That's great. I've been on the Brown campus. It's a pretty nice area too. It's a very nice.
Yes, sir, it is, Harrison. Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, well, tell me about you. Now, you grew up. Now, we're going to talk about what you want. Obviously, you've done you're in acting if you've been out to L.A. and you've done. Now, I noticed there was a show a bunch of years ago, and I think maybe you were in it called, what was it, Body of Proof or something? Wasn't that Rhode Island?
Body Proof was in Rhode Island. I was never in Body
You're never
Proof.
in that, because I know I had a few people on my show back in like 2011 and 2012 that had roles in that show. And obviously there was, because that's, I think that the people that created that show brought it to Rhode Island to save on the tax revenues or something. I thought I heard that about that.
We have a great tax incentive. Steve Feinberg at the Rhode Island Film and TV office does a great job.
Okay.
And Carol Conley, who recently retired, I think, but they do a great job. And we've had some great projects come through Rhode Island. Most recently, Michael Correnti shot a pilot there in Rhode Island called Federal Hill.
Okay.
That I was in, and that was a great experience. So we're how Rhode Island is best backlot on the planet. I mean,
if you love the ocean, sure, absolutely.
The ocean, you can be on College Hill, you can be down on Federal Hill.
Federal Hill,
do it all in a day.
The olives from Federal Hill are delicious too. I would eat it. I could spend my life eating there. Yeah. Well, have you ever done any work with Chad Verdi? He's the biggest film producer in Rhode Island. You know him?
I have done quite a bit with Chad Verdi. In fact, in 2006, I connected Michael and Chad.
Okay.
And they formed Verdi Correnti Productions and did a bunch of movies. Initially, Incubus with Robert Englund, which I was in 2010.
Okay,
we shot that in Cranston.
Yep.
And then we did Infected, which was directed by Glenn Ciano, and Glenn actually directed Incubus also. And then they branched off. Chad formed Verdi Productions. Michael was doing his own thing. And I did a bunch of movies with them. Army of the Damned.
What about the Vinny Paz story? Vinny Paz?
Well, there is a great story about that, Harrison. Thanks for bringing that up.
You're welcome.
So when I heard about the Vinny Paz story, I, of course, like everybody else, wanted to play Vinny Paz.
Okay.
And I actually
I interviewed him, by the way, on Topic Time a few years ago.
Vinny's a great guy. Vinny was very kind to me, and really it was Vinny that said, "Look, you're too old to play Vinny. Why don't you go for Kevin Rooney?" Okay. And by that time I was in Catskill being trained by Kevin Rooney, because my thought was I'll move to Catskill, and Kevin agreed to train me, and I'll either play Vinny or Kevin, and either way I win, because I'm in Catskill, where Vinny trained it was really Mike Tyson that trained with Kevin up in Catskill. Okay. But I'll be in the world of boxing, and I could study Kevin's speech patterns and be in that Customato gym there that there's so much history in, and so I did ultimately make a screen test for Ben Younger, the director, but I didn't get a part in that movie at all, and
Well, it's
that's
obvious you've
okay.
done pretty well. I know you've done well. I mean,
Yeah.
not everybody can get a part in every movie they look to try and get into. I know that because
Yeah.
I've had some extra roles too. Well, tell me about tell me about growing up. You grew up in, I guess you were born there. I assume you grew up there too, right?
I was in Rhode Island. I went to Moses Brown in second grade. My mom met a guy and got married, and we moved to Philly.
Okay.
And I came back to Rhode Island in the summers at Providence College hockey camp. I would play in the Mount League in the summer, Smithfield, because I played a lot of hockey. And
Right.
And then I came back, of course, for Brown in Providence there.
Yep.
And I lived back in Rhode Island between 2006 and 2014. I was in Rhode Island quite a bit, and I did a bunch of plays with Ed Shea. I did a play at Second Story, and I did a play at Perishable, and I did a bunch of work on Brotherhood. I did a bunch of stuff there, and it was great, man. Great people, great projects there.
I know, it's true. Have you ever been on the Roadie Show?
No, I haven't been on the Roadie Show, but I would like to. Anything with Rhode Island, I'm down, man.
Of course. Well, I'm glad.
I'm
glad you. Well, I actually did a TV commercial at the end of 2022, and I don't know if you know Adam Thoreau, but he works at Channel 12, and he got me in this TV commercial, and it was hilarious. I got a whole bunch of guffaws from people that know me, calls from friends in Rhode Island that saw it during the football playoffs a couple of years ago, and he And it was at Channel 12, so I got to see the studio of the Rodeo Show. We did it right during the holidays, so it was a skeleton crew of people there. It wasn't very, heavily occupied as it usually is. So it worked out really good. I mean, I was in and out in 10 minutes, and it was fun. And that, so I've had a little acting experience myself, and I wish I could do more commercials. I had a great time, and like I said,
you can, Harrison. You can do anything you set your mind to.
Well, I know, but I need to have somebody that could set it up. But that's okay. What I'm doing now is talking.
You could set it up. Let me tell you something. Every job I've gotten because I'm scrappy. I was a scrappy hockey player, and I'm a scrappy actor. And you can manifest those things, and that's my message to anybody listening, including yourself, brother. Is that I was just listening to Tony Robbins, so I'm a little fired up right now.
Oh, he's pretty fired up. You can't get more fired up than him.
And the thing that I like that he said, many things, but one of them is you're either going for survival, or you either have to have survival or you have to have success. So if you have to have success, you'll find a way. You know what I'm saying? You'll find a way. I've got countless stories as an actor and a hockey player. That remind me of, and even in this school, I told the kids today, because I'm teaching math, right? And that brings up a lot of fear. I'm in the inner city here. These kids, I got all different levels going on. Their hormones are blasting. The teacher left, and here comes this guy they don't know, right? And I have a much different style. So, but I told the kids, I said, listen, this isn't about math. This is about your life and the challenge that is before you. The challenge that is before you is the one to conquer. So then you conquer that. When you go to the next one, you're thinking, yeah, well, I beat that math thing. I can beat this next thing.
Okay, I hear you.
And you set the bar yourself that way. And I told the kids, some of them I could tell. I got through to some of them today with that.
Probably got through it all. Listen, it's been a while since I've gotten a cool pep talk, so thank you very much. I appreciate it. Well, all right. So tell me when you went to. Now you've worked in L.A. too. You said where have you done acting?
L.A. sucks, dude. You don't want to go to L.A. I've
been to L.A. It wasn't so bad, but why do you think it sucks?
I should probably look at that because I really didn't book a lot of acting work in L.A. I was having a hard time in my life, and clearly I've got some junk in the trunk about it. But I also don't think it's a good environment for me. I'm an East Coast guy. I didn't feel comfortable there.
Okay.
And I'm much more comfortable in New York and everything like that. I had a great agent in LA. I did some work. My first job was Nash Bridges, the Don Johnson show back in '96. That's when I got my SAG card. And
you don't even look that old. That's amazing. I think you must be older than me because because in '96 I was in my late 30s, and you look like you're about that now. So you must be older than you look.
Well, it's not about age so much, dude. It's.
I know.
But I went back to LA in 2017, and I did a Sharon Stone movie called All I Wish, which was awesome. And I like going back there to work. but I really like the East Coast, man.
Okay,
I
you
like
like
the
I
seasons
like
and the
these.
people and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? I'm glad I couldn't have timed it better because we're halfway through the show, and right now we're gonna watch Tom's demo reel, and we'll be right back to discuss it.
I'm one of the good ones. I prosecute bad ones so they're held accountable.
Fuck off, Alessi, you motherfucking prick!
I'm not winning any popularity contests.
Gang unit's got a guy in deep with the Bloods. Says even they were surprised by this.
Are you thinking inside job?
Ramirez was head of Los Caballeros for the better part of a decade. He's got enemies from here to Santo Domingo, and I'm not just talking about other gangs. A lot of people in this community lost their kids to gang violence.
These security cameras catch you shooting?
No, none of them are aimed this way.
It ain't an insult if we never heard the word before. Whose idea was that?
Relax, kid. Mandy's a catch, a good Irish Catholic girl. Pack of lights.
It's 1285.
1285, get out of here.
I'm sorry.
Give me the cigarettes, you stupid bitch.
Come back when you can pay.
Hey! Hey! Cut it out! I'll call the cops!
Stop! Get out of here!
You stop!
Get
out!
You stop! Get out of here!
Half price on all masks.
Come on inside. The Purge is Halloween for adults!
Hell, even the Postal Service wouldn't hire him. So all he does is wrap himself in the flag and go riding around in the woods with a bunch of other morons playing pretend soldier.
You watch your mouth.
Robbie didn't do this. He's just a kid. And for whatever reason, he idolizes his uncle and he drank the Kool-Aid.
Robbie is a good boy.
I know he is, and I want him back.
I wanted to ask you a few questions about the Campbell murder.
Well, now you know I'm not supposed to comment on an ongoing investigation. But let's just say it don't look good for the husband or any of his pals.
Oh, that was great. What did we just watch? Tell me about a little demo reel we just checked out. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that first piece is from a show called Lawyers Gone Bad. Now, this is an interesting story. I was on Law and Order SVU in November of 2022.
Okay.
And I got a call from a lawyer in Florida, Vincent Scarcella, who said, I saw you on Law and Order. I think you're perfect for my show. Can I send you the script? It's a TV pilot called Lawyers Gone Bad. Boom, send me a script. It's great. I raised $27,000 on GoFundMe.
Wow.
I shot a trailer in Buffalo on April 8th of 2023.
Must have been warmer
I
than it
made
is
a
now
poster.
there.
I put it on Facebook. I got a call from a guy in South Africa, Oscar Muhammad, who's produced 27 film and TV shows, including 2 series with Netflix. He said, I think this is great. I want to make it in South Africa. Will you meet me in LA? That was May 30th of 2023. Bought myself a nice Italian suit, got on the plane, met Oscar and his director, Stefan Enslin, in LA on May 30th. And we've had 4 meetings with Netflix Africa. So there's Netflix America and there's Netflix Africa. So my vision is we make a smash in South Africa and Netflix America gets wind of it, and Lawyers Gone Bad is a worldwide phenomenon. We're exposing corruption, and South Africa has a lot of that. So it's the perfect place to start it. And yeah, we're just doing a screenplay, just won Best TV Pilot at the Palm Springs Festival.
Wow.
Vinny Scarcella just told me about that. And then Brown invited me to submit it as a short film to the Brown Media Film Festival, which I did yesterday. So we had a lot of heat. Speaking of heat, Oscar and Stefan made a documentary about a fighter named Chris Herndon, I think is his name. And it's called The Heat.
Okay.
And it's got Sam Rockwell in it and some other great people like Arnold Vosloo, who's going to be in our show, Lawyers Gone Bad. So yeah, we're cooking with gas over there in South Africa.
Okay, now, but you didn't actually go to South Africa. All the stuff was done in
I did
shooting.
actually.
Oh, you did? Okay.
That. I forgot to mention that. So I
Well,
come
so
back.
I asked
from
these
LA.
questions. Okay.
I come back on the 31st from LA, and then Oscar says, look, you got to come to South Africa. So I went to South Africa for, it was a 24-day trip. I was in England, Scotland, and South Africa for 10 days.
Wow. I've been
And
in Scotland, one of those places. Yep.
I got together with Oscar. We did more pre-production work on it. And So that's the first clip. That's from Lawyers Gone Bad. Then there's FBI, the show on CBS, which is in its 6th season.
Yep.
There's a clip from Blue Bloods, which I was in season 12, I think it was, the first episode. And then there's a clip from the Purge election year, which was shot in Providence.
Okay.
And one from FBI Most Wanted, and one from Law and Order Special Victims Unit.
Wow, that is awesome. Now, have you ever written your script? Have you ever written a film script yourself, or
I have, buddy.
Okay,
I have.
How'd that work out?
I've written a few. I shot one with Chris Esper, who's a Rhode Island filmmaker, a really talented guy,
And a very great guest on Topic Time many years ago too.
You had him on. He's awesome, man.
I sure did.
He was our director of photography in Buffalo for the trailer of Lawyers Gone Bad. I think the world of Chris, and we shot a short that I wrote the story of called "Please Punish Me." And
I remember that.
Remember
I saw that. I came to the premiere of that. I think it was in Warwick. I think that's where they played it. I'm pretty sure that's where I went to see it.
So cool, man. So we have connective tissue. Raz Cunningham wrote the script. I wrote the story. And then I made another film called Second Job with Tony Ann Baker.
Okay.
Who, she got married recently. So not recently, but she got married. Her name is different now. But that was about my experiences as a guidance counselor in LA. Second Job.
So that was like more of a documentary than just.
No, it was a narrative film. It was a narrative film about a vice principal who moonlights as a prison warden. Because I had a moment of clarity when I was a guidance counselor. The way the principal was talking to the kids was exactly the way a prison warden would talk to prisoners.
Okay.
And I just got this idea, and I made this film because I wanted to send a message that the schools and the prisons have more in common than one might think.
Well, you know something, that doesn't surprise me in the least, because I've been hearing so many first of all, up here near the Boston area, in the city of Lowell, Mass, which is it's a working class city. It's north of Boston. It's near New Hampshire. They just banned cell phones for the students because the kids are using them for all kinds of done stupid things like setting up fights and cheating on tests and stuff like that. So I heard on the news today. And then in some of the other schools, like Newton, Mass, which is a very upscale. I don't know how much time
I do.
You know the area. You grew up from New England, so now all the teachers are on strike in Newton, Mass, because it's unbelievable. That's one of the most affluent cities in Massachusetts, and yet the teachers aren't happy with their contract, obviously, or they wouldn't be on strike doing picketing instead of teaching the kids. And that blows my mind. So I admire what you're doing in a kind of in a more, I assume it's a more humble area than Newton where you are, only because I've never been to Harlem, but this, it is an
well, I love talking to you, man.
Thank you.
Interesting, because one of the kids today said, we don't really connect with you. And I said, well, why? And they said, because you're too agreeable. And so this is a very interesting piece of information, right? Like, I'm no wuss. I mean, I've
certainly not. You can't be a wuss to play hockey. That's
so my conclusion, and I know exactly what this is about, right? This is about teachers and assistant teachers coming in and just yelling, using fear to control behavior in a temporary way.
Right?
You can control behavior if you yell at someone. You can band-aid something. It doesn't really work long term, and I know that. But the kids are so conditioned to be yelled at, they see me as weak. And tomorrow, I just wrote it down. I'm gonna give a talk about how kindness and weakness are not the same thing. Kindness is not weakness, and they don't know that. That's how messed up these systems are.
I know. That's commendable, because that's. I mean, the only thing is it going to cut into your math teaching too much to make that speech, or you don't care?
Well, you know what, brother? Sometimes you get a teaching moment, and you just take advantage of it. I'm not going to spend the whole time on it.
I know, of course,
because they get talked at a lot, and what I really want is for them to see an example of a functional person, whether they understand what that is or not. So I'll take a little time. If it feels right, you got to feel the room out. You got to read the room.
It's obvious you have. I mean, I get that you have. I have a sense that you got a good rapport with the kids anyway, and I think that. I mean, did you just start? Did you just go in there recently to start the new assignment because the guy that was there couldn't?
This is my third week, dude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So you're still fairly new in it. Okay. Well, I think you're going to be fine. I mean, it's obvious you're confident. I think the kids are going to get you, and I think that what you tell them tomorrow is going to really ring true for them. And I'm glad. And I hope you mentioned being on my show, and because I would love to have somebody from the Harlem school system on as a guest, just to find out what it's like to be a kid down there, or to live in that neighborhood.
Well, that's a very interesting thing. There is a filmmaker here.
Okay.
And I will tell her. Her name is Dream, and I
Perfect.
will tell her if you want to have her as a guest. You seriously want to have her as a guest?
Yes, absolutely. I'm always listen. I was just. By the way, just so you know, we're under 5 minutes. I guess you had fun talking to me. I had a great time talking to you.
Oh, the time flew by, dude. Yeah,
it did. So what I say to every person that I interview, once we get within 5 minutes of completion of the show, is I say, if you had a good time with me, send me anyone you think it might be a good guest, Dream or anyone else. You got my digits now. Have them contact me. We'll get them on the show either by Zoom or in person. I always prefer the in-person interview, but obviously sometimes we have to do it this way.
I'll tell you, this is brilliant, Harrison. You know why? Because just coincidence, and there are no coincidences, but
No, there
just
aren't.
coincidentally, this is the kid that told me I was too agreeable. So it's perfect. You can talk all about that, or whatever you want.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Just so happens to be that was the one that made that comment.
Oh, good. What? That's the one. Okay, was that the one you're talking about, the filmmaker?
Yeah. It's the same
okay.
kid.
Okay, so she's a student.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, so that's okay. Listen, just so you know, I have an 80-year age range of guests. My youngest guest was 5. My oldest was 85. So I have no problem talking to people of all ages as long as they can speak English and understand.
I love that.
Thank you. All right. So before we wrap the show up, do you have anything coming up that you want to mention real quick that might have overlooked in the near future that you want to cover? If not,
well, my agent just got a call from the FBI. They're talking about bringing me back for a third episode in February. So look out for that. It's what's called an avail, which means they say, "Hey, is Tom available these days in February?" And that's what they did on the second episode I did. So they're going to keep doing that until it lines up. So I'll be back at FBI. I love that show. I love some of the themes they have.
I'll definitely watch for you.
Oh, cool, buddy. Cool. I mean, I think the main thing is that I want to say I'm at the point now where I got some traction. I've had some success, and what I've realized, and I want to share with people. It is important to get these credits on the resume. Don't get me wrong, but at this point, and the sooner you can get to this, the better. An artist has something to say, right? That's why we're here,
right?
I want to encourage actors, especially, but all artists really, to say, well, what is it that you want to say? And find a way to say it. You found a way to say it on your show. You're a great example of this.
Thank you.
It's not high school. It's not a popularity contest. We were in high school, a long time ago, right? So it's acting isn't a popularity thing. It's a means to communicate something that you are here to communicate.
That's exactly right.
And only you.
That's true.
So, I just ask people to meditate on that and get clear, drill down into that, and find a way to say it, find a place to say it.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, listen, one last thing. After we wrap the show up, will you stick around for a couple of pics for Facebook? My tech guy will take them, and then I'll tag you. And if you want to tag me, that would be great as well.
Sure, buddy. Sure,
okay.
I'll be happy to do that.
All right, Tom, great job. You were an awesome guest. You were an awesome guest to wrap up the week for my show, and I'm looking forward to getting the show up online and sharing it with the world and 1,000-fold. So, all right. So you ready to wrap the show up the way we began it with the Snappo?
I'm ready.
Okay, folks. We'll flapping up another great episode of Topic Time. See you next time. Have a show to Vegas next week. We are going everywhere. Signing off and snapping out.